If you feel overwhelmed, inconsistent, or like you're constantly behind, even when you're working really hard, there's a good chance it's not your workload that's the problem. It's what you're carrying mentally. Because keeping everything in your head has a hidden cognitive cost. And most high performers don't realize how much it's sabotaging them until their system breaks. Let's talk about why. If you're new here, my name is Corrie, otherwise known as Corrie Lowe. I am a keynote speaker, leadership strategist, and author of the upcoming book, The 5 Overwhelm Culprits. And today we're breaking down one of the most common and overlooked causes of overwhelm and inconsistency, trying to manage your entire life in your head. Most people think overwhelm comes from having too much to do, but what actually drains you isn't the tasks. It's the mental load of tracking, remembering, prioritizing, anticipating, and worrying about them. Your brain is phenomenal at generating ideas and solving problems, but it's terrible at being a storage unit. And when high performers try to keep everything in their head, three things happen. Cognitive bandwidth gets maxed out, decision-making slows down, and consistency becomes nearly impossible. Not because you lack discipline, but because your system is overloaded. Around 2 weeks into starting my career at my family's business, I worked for over 15 years as a corporate SVP, and I didn't start that way. I started off as a graphic designer in my family's business, entry level. It was my first real corporate role. And this was such a sharp contrast from what I was doing before. I actually have a fine arts degree, a bachelor's of fine arts. And when I graduated, I couldn't really get a normal job. So I did what a lot of artists do. I was waiting tables. And so working in corporate was a huge contrast from waitressing. Completely different pace, different expectations, different stakes. Everything seemed a lot more serious. I remember getting home. It was about 2 weeks after I had started. I was sitting in my car and I had a full-on panic attack. And the reason that the panic attack came on was the sudden realization that I had so many new responsibilities. Everything felt urgent. I had this constant underlying fear of forgetting something. And ultimately, I had no mental off switch. That day in the car, I wasn't overwhelmed because I was incapable. I was completely capable of doing everything I was asked to do. I studied graphic design in school. What I was overwhelmed by was because my brain was trying to hold too much at the time. This was the first time that I recognized something critical. Overwhelm isn't a personal flaw. It's a systems problem. And that's when I found the book, Getting Things Done by David Allen. This is definitely like one of the top books that I recommend. People say, Corrie, what's your top 10 books that have changed your life? Getting Things Done is one of them. And the most important idea in the book wasn't color-coded lists or productivity hacks. It was a simple principle, which is the core of the book. It's your brain is great for having ideas, not holding them. So it's like, how are you going to create a system that you take everything that's in your brain and put it somewhere else? So this is the very first step in that system, and it changed everything. And it's called the brain dump. So here's what happens neurologically when you don't externalize information in your head. Your brain stays in a low-grade fight or flight state. And this is pure neuroscience we're talking about. You feel pressure to act immediately, even when it's not required. Small tasks feel just as heavy as big ones. And you end up losing clarity around what's actually a priority. This is why people say, I feel like I'm drowning. I can't shut my brain off. I'm busy all day, but I'm not moving forward. This is not laziness. It's cognitive overload. Here's the simplest and most powerful first step that you could do. It's a brain dump. Literally, it's not a to-do list. It's not a prioritized plan. It's not a productivity system. It's just a complete externalization of everything in your head. Every task, every responsibility, every due date, every follow-up, every open loop, every don't forget. And this is for both personal and professional. We are one human being. We are not a separate career person and family person. Put them all together on one page. There's no reason to segregate it all out. There's no organizing, no judging, no fixing. Just get it out of your brain, because clarity doesn't come from doing more. It comes from unloading what's already there. And this is where consistency breaks down for high performers. Not because they don't care, and it's not because they don't lack the motivation, because high performers are motivated, but because they're trying to lead, decide, and execute with a brain that's functioning as a storage unit. They have too many tabs open in their brain. What happens with your computer when you have too many tabs open? It slows down the memory. Your brain works exactly the same way. In leadership, especially during high pressure seasons, clarity is a prerequisite for consistency, and clarity requires systems. That's why what we're talking about is not a willpower problem. It's a systems problem. This is exactly what I break down in my book, The 5 Overwhelm Culprits. Strategies to save your sanity without sacrificing your success, especially in the lack of consistency section. Because inconsistency isn't about trying harder. It's about reducing the cognitive load that you're carrying each and every day. If this episode resonated, start with a brain dump, first and foremost. And if you want help identifying what's actually creating overwhelm for you, take my free Overwhelm Culprit Quiz. It's linked in the show notes below. I'll also link the book, Getting Things Done, that started this journey for me. If you want it, go ahead, explore it yourself. Full disclosure, it's going to be an affiliate link. But either way, I would love for it to impact your life as much as it impacted mine. So from here, make sure you subscribe, share this with someone who's carrying everything in their own head too, and I'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for checking out The Next Step with Corrie Lowe. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend, subscribe, and leave a review. Together, we'll transform overwhelm into action, and we'll keep taking the next step towards confident leadership. See you next time.